Hello, soul family. Seeing in the scrying mirror. I love you all. Hope everybody's having a good day today. This is Jeremiah, and you've tuned in to Secrets of the Sacred Serpent, where we talk about all things spirituality and the occult. Today we're actually going to go over a Kabbalistic, I guess you'd say theory, or a Kabbalistic concept, there we go, of Tikkun Olam. So what is Tikkun Olam? Basically, Tikkun Olam is repair of the world. So when the creation was all happening, and these Sephira from and the Klifa that I was speaking about of the Clifoth were being shattered and broken into many pieces to create the foundation of the world, it created the quote-unquote evil, or just the lower nature, the not the divine mind, the being tapped into materialism and consumed by the physical world, believing that you are only your body. So when we're talking about Tikkun Olam, we're talking about, first of all, repairing yourself. Because you cannot fix the world around you, but you can fix yourself. And when you fix yourself and you do start to do the Magnum Opus, or the great work, where you are self-deifying, working through the techniques and methods to gain apotheosis and walking the path of self-mastery, all of that shadow work and stuff to understand your true self is in order to basically fix yourself and to be the divine God that you're supposed to be. And when you do this, when you fix your internal universe, your subjective realm, your objective physical universe that is manifest around you is it aligns with that etheric blueprint within your subjective realm, because now that you fixed yourself, the world, you can magnetize and vibrate to the frequency of these higher level concepts, states of being, and experiences that you will have on your spiritual path. So with Tikkun Olam, the repair of the world being the fixing of the flaw of creation, what most people call sin, which sin is nothing more than the sine wave coming into physicality. There is always going to be a separation from spirit. That's why our goal is to unite with our spirit and let it be expressed throughout our bodies, and not let the ego be the one running the show. So when you look at the tree of life, we understand that the energy of the divine, what most people call God, the universe, source, whatever you want to call it, the all, the energy of it projects itself through these sephira and these pathways in order to manifest here in the physical realm. So this is basically, the all separates itself first into masculine, then into feminine. So then you have masculine and feminine energies, and then it breaks itself down into many, many, many different other aspects. And when it's doing this, you end up with all the different lesser gods, or demigods, the ones that aren't the entire universe but are aspects of the entire universe. All deities and spirits are somehow connected to the universe, the all, and they're different aspects of it. Also, every human being, every spirit you work with, every human being, every animal, everything is a expression of this entity. This entity split itself into, an infinite amount of different beings within creation. So every sentient conscious being, and don't forget, plants and trees and animals, they are all sentient. They are all conscious. Even trees and plants, they're very much so conscious. As a matter of fact, a lot of things that you would not consider conscious actually are consciousness. Metal, plastics, even the fake food that they make that's a bunch of dang chemicals, it's still a form of the consciousness of the all. Nothing exists outside of source. And everything that has ever happened or ever will happen is existing within source. When we are, we also know that the energy of the divine is constantly in a state of giving, basically. It's the will to bestow. So it is constantly pouring this energy down into the physical realm. So there is a unending amount of energy. That's why I totally agree with Peace to the God, Travis Magus, saying about not really seeing as much benefit out of vampirism because there's always this constant influx of energy. We have a non-stop power source coming from the universe directly to us. So unless you're just feeling an intuitive purpose to actually vampirize somebody, like you really need to, like you feel like they might harm you or something, then you can vampirize them. Or if you're healing, remember I told you guys in the video on vampirism, you can actually heal people with vampirism. You can pull out the illness, transmute the energy, and give it back to them. But we always have this constant influx of energy, so we know that the divine is in a constant state of bestowal. It isn't till around here that it starts to begin dissolving things. This is when the structure starts to come together, and this is when it starts to dissolve. So actually up here, the source of all is in a constant state of bestowal. So when we are doing Tikkun Olam, we're going through these many stages. So let's say you're born, your mind is wiped, you don't realize you are the divine, you are the microcosm of the macrocosm, you completely forget who you are and what you are. The purpose of the great work and becoming spiritual is to come into the understanding of who you truly are and to actually begin to give the energies exactly like the all, the universe, how the creator, the all, manifests and gives us all of this infinite abundance throughout nature. So we start out and we literally only think about sex, food, and shelter. The beginning of our life, we just are trying to survive once we become adults and stuff. And this is not like from a childhood. From a childhood, we literally forget who we are. For the first 7 years, we're in a theta brainwave, just constantly downloading energy, a complete receptive being that is just soaking up all of the knowledge that it can. Then after the first 7 years, we began taking that programming and just acting it out. And that's why we have schools and stuff that train us to be good little slaves and to not question authority, to be there on time with school and listen to the teachers, and what they say goes and what you say doesn't. It's training you to be a good little slave and to be a good worker in the workforce so that you don't question your bosses and stuff. But we'll get into that on another video. The purpose of the great work is to take the creature which the creator created and then filled the creature with his spirit, its spirit, because it's actually feminine and masculine, but I see the all having a little bit more of a feminine energy for some reason. I don't know. It's personal to me though. But the all creates a body to fill up. Then it puts its spirit within that body. That body wakes up and forgets who it is. As it goes through life, it goes through many, many traumas to put it into a dark night of the soul. After all the traumas, you go through the dark night of the soul at some point in your life, and when you go through the dark night of the soul, it takes you immediately into spirituality 99.9% of the time. It puts you into a dark place to begin, but then you start questioning reality, yourself, you start questioning everything, and just seeking for the truth. But the beginning stages of self-deification, self-knowledge, and becoming the God that you came down here to be, you start out with just the basic necessities. You just want sex, food, and shelter. You just want to survive. You want to have sex. You want to be able to eat. But these are just your basic things. So you are wanting the will to receive. You want to receive shelter. You want to receive food, and you want to receive sex. Then you move on to a stage in your life where you want to get money, because money makes the world go round, right? So then you start to accumulate wealth, and when you accumulate wealth, then you cover all these bases. Your shelter, you buy a home or rent a place, you got your food covered, and whether we like to admit it or not, if you're a broke joke, you're gonna have a really hard time getting sex. So this becomes a very big part of our lives. So we start accumulating wealth. Then we get to a stage when we want to establish fame and power. So we want people to notice us. Everybody on the social media trying to get, instant fame from stuff and reaching for the power. You have people that go into being police and stuff because they're power hungry, or they want to go into the government because they want to rule over people. You got people that, even in a good sense, you got people that seek the power of being a doctor because then they hold the power of life and death over people, being a surgeon and stuff like that. So there's many different stages of that fame and power that you're seeking. That doesn't always necessarily mean it's something bad, like people wanting to be police for the wrong reason, or in the government for the wrong reason, just for the control. But then you moved from the stage of the fame and power. After all this you've been through all the drama through life, and you're just trying to survive and build a structure where you are acknowledged as something important. And then you move to the next stage. This next stage is a very important stage within your spiritual path, as a living spiritual being, starting to understand that it's not just their body, and that is knowledge. So you begin digging for truth in all aspects. A lot of times we'll have things that'll happen within society that'll really make us question things, and we'll be like, why does this seem so weird, and why do I feel like we're being lied to on so many aspects? And then you start digging for truth. This stage right here is the stage before you really begin becoming spiritual. A lot of times we'll end up going through conspiracies and realizing that we've been lied to at about pretty much everything since we were children. We've been lied to about where we live. We've been lied to about who we are. We've been lied to about the governments being in control and them abolishing slavery, because they basically got rid of involuntary servitude and allowed voluntary servitude, and then they just basically trick us into being slaves. You gain the knowledge of the lies that religions has held over us, society as a whole, and all the political correctness and and language. That's a big one. Once you start learning about the English language and how it connects to a lot of older languages like Latin, Greek, Hebrew, Aramaic, language is a construct all in itself that you need to understand. So research gematria, especially if you're studying Qabalah, you need to research gematria. Also just numerology in general, and languages, and most definitely etymology, because etymology is the breakdown of the words to kind of give you the meaning of what they are. But once you get through this stage of knowledge and knowing, and you're coming into the knowing yourself, knowledge of self, like said on the Temple of Heliopolis, know thyself and thou shalt know the gods. So when you move from this stage, you go through your dark night of the soul, and then you moved into the state of spirit, and this is when you begin to tap into your divinity. And you will notice that after you've done all this shadow work, after you've lived this life and you've gained all this knowledge, you get into a state to where you want to give all of this back to people, because you understand that once humanity reaches this stage, everything's going to be different. Every single thing is going to be different on the world. Once we move out of the will to receive and we move into the will to bestow, because once we are walking in the energy of the Creator and we are constantly always wanting to bestow things on others, but always getting that self-knowledge first and taking care of yourself, number one, numero uno, it is not selfish for you to be selfish at times. Always take time for yourself. Everybody needs time to work on themselves and to be alone. Even if you're in a relationship, each of you need at least a little bit of time where you're not up each other's butt all the time. Even when you love each other with all of your hearts, still give yourselves time for the self, because it's very important that we have time for self-love and we don't start seeking love or validation out of others. We seek it only in ourselves. But this is the stages of Tikkun Olam, when we move from the will to receive into the will to bestow. And this is basically just how much that we change whenever we go from being materialistic beings, thinking that we're our bodies, and then we come into spirituality and magic, and we start doing these rituals, and we start studying all of these ancient traditions that hold so much knowledge within them, and start to apply that knowledge and gain wisdom and understanding from that gnosis. That's when we are becoming godlike, and we are literally manifesting here as we intended. We intended to come here and create heaven on earth. And Tikkun Olam, the repair of the world, is the process of creating heaven on earth. It's just the Kabbalistic viewpoint of the Magnum Opus. Tikkun Olam is Magnum Opus, repair of the world. But you got to understand that you are the world, and you have to repair yourself first. And you will notice as you begin doing the great work, you will get to a state to where you will constantly be wanting to bestow. I actually am probably one of the only Reiki practitioners I know that offers free services to those who need it. And that never would have happened had I not started really walking this path of self-mastery. I would definitely be the type of person before, when I was younger, to always want to benefit from things on a physical manifest level. But now I understand that on a much deeper spiritual level, I'm always benefiting from these things. And that's kind of like the Luciferian point of power, I believe number 10 or 11, that states that everything you do is selfish, no matter, even if you feel like you're doing it just trying to give to people. All acts are a selfish act, because you are them. We are all the same entity. And when you understand that we are all the same being, you treat others with the respect that you would want them to treat you with, because you understand that they're just a mirror of you. The entire world, everything that is outside of yourself is actually inside of yourself. All of this that you see within creation is a mirror showing you who you are, showing you your divinity. And in order to do this great work, we're going to have to really do the shadow work and really work on ourselves. And you will realize when you come to a much higher stage, because a major part of this great work is transmuting, transforming, and transferring the concepts that we used to have about life, and viewing them in a much higher divine aspect. So finding a higher meaning in everything in life. when something happens to you, instead of looking at it and saying, oh, I never have great relationships, or I'm always broke, or any negative thought, transmuting that into, this one didn't work out, but I always have abundant relationships within my life. Or just because you don't have a couple of dollars on you, you don't say, I'm always broke. You say, the universe always shows me that I'm abundant in more ways than just financial. I have abundance in love and peace, and the prosperity runs strong in other aspects, and I'm going to tap into those aspects of my life and see if there's any way that any of those aspects of my life can bring the physical manifestation of money or cash that I desire. Because once you start having these higher divine thoughts and stuff, and you've transmuted your state of being from a state of being stressed out or depressed or anxious all the time into a state where pretty much every day you're fucking or friggin' doing amazing. You love your life. Like, literally, don't get me wrong, I have rough days here and there. I actually pulled a muscle doing Kundalini yoga the other day, and yeah, I pulled a muscle in my shoulder, and it was like super sore. So the past couple days, I've been in a lot of pain. But I look at this pain and I say, "Ooh, this is a way that Spirit's showing me that I can learn to deal with pain better." And so literally I transmuted that thought from, oh, this sucks, I'm hurting so dang bad. Oh, I might have injured my back again. Oh man, what am I going to do if I've injured my back even worse? No, I didn't even go into those thoughts. I immediately thought of the higher way to look at it. Like, oh, that's what I get for overdoing myself and pushing myself too strong or something like that. I just always have higher thoughts about almost everything. And don't get me wrong, I'm not going to sit here and say I'm perfect, because I definitely have thoughts like people piss me off at times. People get me in my emotions from time to time, but it's very difficult, and it's really has to be some serious, serious stuff to really get me in my feels, because I just really don't let people get in my emotions anymore like that. I don't let people control me, because when you let someone get into your emotions, you're letting them control you. And then they have power over you. What kind of God are you if somebody else can throw you off your square? Not much of one. So you need to tap into those emotions and get your emotions under control. I just had some people the other day send a comment on one of my YouTube videos saying that it was fake and gay about Luciferianism and stuff, and it actually tickled me. It, like, gave me a little chuckle. It didn't hurt my feelings or nothing. I was like, wow, that's funny. That, and the dude's picture on his YouTube thing was him flipping a bird, and I can't remember the name of the screen name, but it was like Evil something, but EVOL. And I was just like cracking up. I was like, this dude really is just going around YouTube trying to catch people in their feels. And I was like, wrong one. Not me, buddy. Because I'm not doing this stuff to get famous. Just to let you guys know, like, this is my will to bestow. This is the reason I even do this channel, is because all of the knowledge that I have attained since I was 14 years old and I began studying the occult. I mean, I'm 35 now, going on 36, so I've got a lot of knowledge, even though there was some years there from my teenage years up into my adulthood where I went through some severe addictions and stuff, and I really wasn't focusing on my spirituality or studying it. But if I added up all the years that I've been heavy into the occult, it's gonna be like upwards of 15 years or so. But yeah, this is my will to bestow. This is the spirit of the divine, the spirit of the universe coming through me and just getting me to share the stuff that I've learned. Because I know how much this stuff has helped me. Whether it be Qabalah, hermetics, any type of Eastern tradition like yoga, Kundalini yoga, using mantras and mudras, a lot of the Eastern traditions from Hinduism and the Vedic traditions. I definitely love to follow, because they have a deep understanding of meditation, and much more about the subtle body and stuff than the Western traditions and religions. But I think that's probably going to be about it for Tikkun Olam. It means repair of the world. It's directly connected to the Magnum Opus, or the Great Work. And basically the process is you transmuting everything from the will to try to get everything off everybody, and have everybody give you stuff, give you validation, give you love, give you money or possessions, and you get to a point where you want to bestow upon everybody the wisdom and understanding that you've gained through this. And that'll be about it. Wow, this video ended up being really long. Probably ranted for a little bit about it, but I feel like the Tikkun Olam is an important subject matter. I love you all, though. I hope everyone has a wonderful day today. I think I'm going to probably make another video or two before my girlfriend gets off work. But yeah, we'll go in. I'll probably come back with the divine names and stuff like that to actually work with the Sephirah. Oh, and I haven't even done one on the tarot yet in Hebrew. I love you all. Hope everyone has a wonderful day today. Peace.